Was pleased looking at the tape, getting a good conference win last weekend. I thought we started the game really well. I thought we complemented each other in all three phases. I thought defensively for most of the game really played well. I think we had 9 3-and-outs, 1 2-and-out. Got a couple of takeaways, so that's always good to see. I thought this was probably as good of a special team game in a lot of ways that we played. Pete Germano does a great job with our special teams. He's got a bunch of kids that play with a lot of pride, and to see Rashad take one to the house was great. He also set up a short field with another great return. Jordan Peterson's doing a great job with our kickoff coverage unit, and I think the average starting field position on their returns was behind the 25, and then in our kickoff return game, we're close to breaking one of those. We had a decent return, and we're getting real close with some explosive players that I think it's just a matter of time before we break another big one in our kickoff game. So I was really happy with that. And our offense took the advantage of some field position. And one other thing, on our punt return unit defended a fake really well, got the ball at midfield. Offense turned around, I think that was our first score. So again, was really pleased with our effort initially. We've got to do a better job sustaining things in the second half. I think there was a drop-off in intensity. We've got to address that as coaches and get our guys playing for a full 60 minutes. But overall, was pleased getting a win because we had seen Wyoming had done a great job, especially on the road, going to Austin, played well. Going to Reno, lost in overtime. We knew it was going to be a challenge. Looking at this week, very different type of challenge. Coach Davies done a great job in really resurrecting the New Mexico program. They're 4-4 on this season. They gave Air Force everything they wanted last week. Really changed dramatically on offense. They become a triple option team, but do it out of a variety of different sets, very unconventional, and giving a lot of people problems. I think they're 5th in the country right now in rushing offense. They're kind of going, bucking the trend a little bit of the up-tempo spread. They're huddling, they're taking their time and doing a really good job of ball control. And they've got a back that just set a league record last week, ran for 330-some yards against Air Force, and as a team they rushed for over 400 yards. So we've got to do a good job in our run defense, and then defensively, Coach Davey was a defense coordinator at Texas A&M for a long time, had tremendous success. Their guys are playing extremely hard, and we know it's going to be a challenge on that side of the ball as well. So we need to play well on the road and improve what we've done on the road so far this year. So with that, I'll open it up.
Expect to have Andy Jennings, big game against the run?
We hope to. He got dinged up last week. X-rays were negative. We expect him to play this week.
And do you know how long Nico's going to have the club?
I believe he fractured his hand, so he'll have some type of device for 6 weeks. We're in negotiations right now whether it's going to be a club or a modified type of a cast.
You have stopped the run this week. How pleased were you with your ability to stop Wyoming's running game, especially first 3 quarters? They got a lot in the fourth quarter.
Right. I was really pleased. I thought we had a good scheme that our defense staff came up with, and ultimately our players were very effective in executing that scheme, and it started up front. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage and for the most part tackled really well. When you do that, you can make a team a little bit more one-dimensional. It definitely helps. The week before, I think they ran for almost 250 yards against a similar scheme in Air Force, basing out of a 3-4. So we knew they had the capability of doing it, but I thought our guys did a good job of executing our defense and played hard.
Is New Mexico's 3-4 similar to yours?
Some facets are. They probably don't run as much true odd. Now they'll have 3-4 personnel, but they're a little bit more of a shaded front at times, and then they'll go into some true odd stuff.
What's the key when you're trying to defend the option, the triple option?
Well, you got to have someone for the dive, someone for the quarterback, and someone for the pitch, and someone for play action pass. And you can't just say, hey, we're going to take away one guy. you've got to play assignment sound. What they're going to do is they're going to shift in motion and give you some unusual sets, some unbalanced sets, and multiple tight end and no tight end, trying to find a formation or a shift or motion that's going to get you out of a gap. And then as soon as they have an opening in a gap like they did last week, against Air Force, Carrier can take it to the house, and they'll just keep pounding it and trying to find different ways to get that one-on-one where he makes somebody miss, or find a way that he's going to find an open gap because somebody misplayed something.
How difficult this week in practice will it be, because you've been having your defense practice against your spread? So how difficult is it to change that up and go against a triple option to prepare?
I think it's always difficult when you're going against a triple option team. The thing I think is kind of good is this offense, as I look at it, and we're still in the process of studying it, has some similarities to Nevada's pistol and some of the read zone option stuff that they do out of it. Has some similarities to what Air Force does out of their multiple option stuff. So there'll be some carryover later that we can bank some reps in. But it's when you do switch gears, it's a dramatic difference from really any opponent we've played today. So you've got to be disciplined, you've got to be sound, and you got to play with the kind of intensity that we've had. The key is you've got to be able to trust, and you've got to know that, hey, if I've got the quarterback, I got to trust the guy taking the dive is taking the dive. And if I have the quarterback and I think, well, maybe he's not going to take dive, and I go help, now the big plays happen.
Jeremiah, tell me,
Jeremiah's getting better. Each week he's feeling better and better physically, and with more reps, he's functionally better. He's still not where he wants to be or where our coaches want him to be, but he's improving.
Coach, in the game against Wyoming, you stopped them multiple times on third down. How critical is it going to be to get New Mexico through third down and long, since they run the option attack?
Yeah, no, I think it's crucial. If you can do a good job on first and second down defense against these guys and get them into third down and 6 or 7 plus, that takes them out of what they want to do. They want to have third down and 3, very similar to Air Force, very similar to Nevada. Most people want third and short. They want to be able to run their triple and run some power running game. And if we can get them into third and long, which we've been effective in third down defense because we've been effective in forcing people into second and long and third and long. When you play good in first, second down defense, your third down percentages usually go up. So no different this week. We've got to defend the run especially well on first and second down.
Tim, you said that the intensity level obviously fell off in the second half, and you weren't happy about that. Is there an explanation for it? Can you put your finger on that? Or I don't know if boredom set in. I don't know.
I don't know if there's an explanation, and it wasn't everybody. I thought our defense in particular played really well in the second half. I thought most of our special teams continued to play well. There was one guy here or there on offense at times that didn't. And offense is very, very delicate. It's timing, it's execution, it's rhythm, and if you don't have 11 guys all on the same page, one guy can make that thing frazzle, and we had times where that happened. We tried some different combinations of players, in our offensive line, so that may have had something to do with it, but we've got to do a better job protecting Derek. We've got to do a better job being consistent in our assignments.
What were the particular combinations that you liked in the offensive line, and how did you think they played as a group? What's some of those changes this week?
Well, our tackles are going to be the same, with Cody and with Austin. Inside, Richard, I thought really did a nice job at center. He's played center before, but last week he didn't practice until Thursday at center. And so to do everything we do and have to pick it up and really only have one day of practice, I thought he was effective. At the guard, we've got to improve there, and we're going to look to have more competition in this week and see what our best combinations are.
You're one win away from being bowl eligible. Is that an emphasis of yours this week?
No. 6 wins to me is not something to celebrate, and I understand the ramification of being bowl eligible, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to win this conference, and we know we don't have total control over that, but winning on the road is going to help us toward our ultimate goal of winning the conference championship, and hopefully we get some help down the line.
Do you feel like no matter if you stop the run or get up on them early, like 21-0, force them to throw basically, you think that would give you a huge advantage?
Yeah, I think so, but you watch them, they really don't get out of their offense much. They're still going to try to effectively run their offense. It may be a little bit more play action pass, and they were kind of validated in that. Boise got up on them about 25-0 at the half. They continued to run their offense and got right back in the ballgame. And again, if they can break some big plays, whether you're running it or throwing it, it doesn't matter. Hopefully we can get up, like we've done here at home some games, because we'd like to test them on that theory. But clearly they're an excellent running team, and if we can make them throw the ball, you tend to make that offense left-handed, which is what we try to do.
The big picture of the conference, what does San Diego State's win at Nevada mean to you?
I don't know that it means anything to me other than it's a statement that we've got some quality depth in this league. Having played San Diego State, we knew they have really good talent. They're well coached. Rocky's coached in this league for a long time. Andy Ludwig does a great job on offense. They had their backup quarterback, take them to the win, and so that's impressive with their depth. To go up to Reno, I think a lot of people know that that's a tough place to play, especially late in the year. But they found a way to get it done. So hopefully that will give our guys some inspiration as we go down the road and have to play them, that if we play well, that's a game we should be able to compete in. It also tells me that, maybe Boise can be vulnerable, not only to Nevada, but maybe San Diego State as well. So obviously we're looking for help from someone, and I don't care who it is.
Coach, is there any person or player you can talk about the penalties that you've gotten in the past? Is it getting better, or are you still dealing with penalties that are, maybe shouldn't have been called on your players? As far as your players are concerned, are you talking to them about penalties that are out there?
Are we talking to our players?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk all the time. Again, we try to differentiate between penalties of aggression, and taking smart penalties, and then penalties where they're just dumb. And I thought we cut down on our penalties this last week. We took a couple, delay to, kick the ball and those kind of things, which are kind of inconsequential. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, no personal fact.
First play of the game, the rush on defense.
Late tackle out of bounds.
On Tristan, excuse me. Yeah, I mean that, when you're on the sideline, you got to be smart. And, it's something that you got to, have that fine line. Tristan said I thought he was going to, continue down. He obviously didn't. So you've got to point those things out and get it corrected. But, there's going to be times where that just happens.
Victor Dean looked a lot more aggressive after the catch this week than last week. Is that something that was a part of the instruction this week?
Oh, yeah, that's been a point of emphasis from Coach Antoine. He's got a lot of talent. He's more physical than he realizes at times. And he's just got to be able to be comfortable catching the ball and getting north, and he did a much better job this week, but he's still got some area to improve there. He's also got some juking ability, and you saw that on his touchdown catch. That is, as long as he is, and it's tough for guys to be able to sink their hips and move like that. He can do that. And, I think with more work in the weight room and more work on the field, he'll continue to get better.
Do you think you'll have Josh Harper back this week or no?
Oh, we anticipate that he'll be ready this week, yes. So, hopefully.
And Lars, was that just a one-game thing? Is he back for sure this week?
Refer to the statement. I don't know what the statement was.
It just said he was suspended for Saturday.
It was whatever the athletic department policy is.
The biggest reaction from the crowd, I think, was Derek's block on the reverse the burst. You said at halftime that you thought he should have targeted lower. Is that an execution thing or a personal safety thing?
Both. I really like the fact that he was aggressive in his block. But for a safety thing, whether it's defensive guys making a tackle or, offensive guys blocking, you've got to be very, very cognizant of where your helmet is and be careful not to have helmet-to-helmet contact. You know, he was geeked up, you know, making the play, but I want him to go celebrate with his teammates. I mean, he was, you know, running over the sideline afterwards. Hey, go make another block if you like that one. You know, and go down the end zone and celebrate with the linemen. You know, those guys make those blocks all the time. So I was happy to see him do it, and we just got to, you know, get everybody on our team to lower their target when they either tackle or block.
Is that part of the plan to have him block?
On that particular play,
Yeah.
you know, when we run reverses, you know, he's got to clean up whatever shows, and sometimes quarterbacks will just kind of get in the way, and clearly he decided to take a good shot.
Did you feel like he made it a point to come out and really set the tone because of some of the criticism he took last week?
I don't know. I didn't talk to him about that. It may have been that. I think Derek's a very driven player. He doesn't necessarily need outside forces to motivate him. He's got great internal drive, great work ethic, but that could have been part of it.
Do you have any extra insight how to defend the triple option from your time at the Air Force? Does that help at all with the preparation?
Well, I think it helps from the standpoint of understanding what triple option teams schematically want to do, try to do. If you're used to going against those particular schemes, you know how your defensive scheme fits against it, but it ultimately comes down to execution. When you're going against that offense every day in practice, it's much easier to go to Saturday and execute. Typically, there's a lag time between starting a game and understanding the speed and the angles and the blocking and all the different combinations. And so sometimes it's not until halfway through the first quarter, second quarter, that you start playing faster and executing your defense. Hopefully we'll start faster than that, but you know, I know when we play triple option teams that if we haven't been going against our own offense, when I was at the Air Force Academy, and you go against an Army or Navy, it takes a little bit.
Can your safeties cheat a little more to help stop the run? Maybe move in a little bit?
At times they will. You know, it's going to depend on, obviously, down distance situations, but you know, clearly I think you've got to get your safeties involved in the run game against teams like this that run triple. Obviously, that puts stresses on your secondary. Your corners now got to play some man coverage, and so you got to be sound against the play action pass game. Your safety's got to put their eyes where they need to be. They can't be cheating and just following the ball and letting guys run by them. So it's some teaching going to have to happen this week.
Don't forget another pick six. I know it was late in the game, but you get to the point now you're on the sideline. Just nothing surprises me with him anymore, really.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't want to say sad, but yeah, it's getting to that point where you expect it from him. He's having a really good year. I think Coach McDonald's done an excellent job in teaching him our scheme, and he's taken to it really, really well. And so when you have that combination of a really good player and really good teaching, and it's just coming together where he's making a ton of plays, and our defense needs that. So it's good to see.
Have you seen a better defensive player, maybe besides Von Miller? On what?
I can say Vaughn was a pretty good one.
Yeah. I mean, is he that kind of caliber, you think? Is he getting there?
Different. Vaughn was a guy that could take over a game by himself. I mean, we'd rush 3 and he'd get sacks. And so people had to compensate their offense and double team him and do those types of things. It's a little different when you're a safety. But, you know, Coach Toth and I have said this from the beginning. I think Philip Thomas is very similar to a Troy Polamalu in our scheme. You know, we blitz him, we have him in coverage. He's got a great feel for the game, great feel for our disguises and timing. He's definitely a playmaker for us, and you know that he's not Troy Polamalu, so don't say that. I don't want to put that on him, but Troy Polamalu's value in the Steelers scheme and our value, or Philip Thomas's value to our scheme are I think very similar.
Receiver Devontae Adams, he had another solid game against Wyoming. What are your thoughts on him as a redshirt freshman this season?
I think Devontae's done a nice job all year long. Clearly, he's got some ways to go to be the complete player that we want him to be. But for a redshirt freshman, I've been pleasantly pleased with the progress he's making. He's getting better every game. He's running more physically, but we got to be more consistent. He made a poor decision on a hitch. I think he thought he was Rashad Evans or Isaiah Burst and could make the whole field miss, but that's not him. He needs to get north.
Is there a particular position that's usually responsible for the quarterback in this type of scheme?
We switch things up. If you constantly have one guy to be the quarterback player and one guy to be the dive player, good offensive football teams, good option teams will switch. We'll block that guy. Sometimes they'll read that guy and change things. So we're going to make them change things as well.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they've been shuffling their quarterbacks as well, another team off.
I believe they've had some injury situation, so we're not sure. We haven't got a tweet from them yet, have we? So I'm not sure who they're listing as their starter.
Does that make things any more difficult or a different?
Not really, because as we've looked at the three different guys who play quarterback, and then they'll do some wildcat stuff, they're really running the same scheme. They want to get 5 the ball, and I would too if he was one of my players at New Mexico. So they'll find different ways to get 5 the ball, and then they'll run the triple option and just take what the defense gives them.
Anybody having wisdom teeth out this week?
I hope not. I don't think so. But it's one of those situations where it's anywhere from 16 to 22 years old. It happens at different times, and you don't anticipate those things. If they do, you got to yank them.
And with Rashad and Isaiah lining up in the backfield, that's where Michael had been in a similar formation. Would they have been there if Michael?
We've got a couple different personnel packages. It looks the same formation-wise, but we actually have a package where Rashad and IB are in the backfield, and then we'll do different things out of it. So part of the yes and no. They were in the other package where we may have had Michael in there or Martez, but we also have a separate deal.
Seems like those two guys especially, you can trust with a lot of things. Rashad, IB.
Yeah, I really like where they're at. They're both very competitive guys. They're definitely playmakers for us, and I think they've got the right drive to play this game. And I've been really happy with both those guys.
Anything else for Coach?